Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, I'm excited to welcome back to the show Neil Davis, who's going to talk all about the upcoming event, Kiss Cancer Goodbye 2. He's got lots of great things in store for Kiss fans. It's a great cause. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this episode, so let's jump in and let's get started. Hey, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. Today, I'm excited to have back on the show with me once again, my friend Neil Davis. How you doing, Neil?
Good, Mike. Good to see you. And it's been 14, 15 months since we got together again, so it's nice to reconnect.
Absolutely. No. And you know, you always put on some great shows. I'm always excited to come join your shows. And, we'll talk about your newest one here in a moment. And it's just always good to see you. And that's one of the things I love with these events is it brings Kiss fans together, which is what it's all about. So I miss seeing you in person, but this is the next best thing.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the nice things, Mike, I like about, the events I put on, but just Kiss things as well is, when we were all young and we were, these, I don't know, for me, self-conscious, weird Kiss fan, back in the 70s, I didn't know others like us existed. And so now it's nice with the internet and these gatherings, we can all get together and no matter where we live and kind of whatever paths we take in our lives, work or everything else as well, we still have this commonality that just kind of brings everybody together. And it's always great to see people in a lively conversation amongst all of us when we do that.
And I say that to people all the time that, maybe watch some of the videos I've shared from your events in the past. And some people love them, some people critique them. I'm like, well, you're missing half of what the purpose of these events are. Half of it is the great performances and all of that. And we'll talk about what you have in store for this next event. But then some of it is also just seeing your friends and socializing, having lunch and having dinner with people. And that's at least half the fun of these things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's I think why the Kiss cruise was so successful, and these
Absolutely.
events is that everybody could sit in their own hometown and wait for shows to come to them, but it doesn't bring this universe of people that again we have a majority of our lives having this common interest, and it's nice to be able to talk to people that get it and care about the same things and
Absolutely.
hear everyone else's perspectives and opinions.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your new event coming up. But before we get into the details of the performances and all of that, this next event is Kiss Cancer Goodbye #2, October 13th,
Yep.
14th in Sarasota, Florida. And before we talk the details, I just want to thank you for doing something like this, right? Because we all know people, unfortunately, who have had cancer. I know a few cancer survivors. I just lost an uncle to cancer about 10 days ago, right? So we all know somebody impacted by cancer. And just the cause, forget the performances, is such a great cause. And really, to me, you're putting your money where your mouth is. So I just want to start off by saying thank you for doing something for such a great cause.
I appreciate it, Mike. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. Cancer is a big, ugly, nasty, mean disease, and it takes businesses and people and not-for-profits in Florida and in the Northeast, across the country and the world, to come together and all play a part to help raise money, to provide research, and do everything to fight it. Because again, this disease is so big and powerful. We really have to all play a part in it all. And this is the second year we've done the Kiss Cancer Goodbye event. We felt great last year we did it, and it was a much smaller event the first year. and we donated a little over $40,000 to the American Cancer Societies, which on one hand we feel fantastic about, but we also recognize that it takes a lot of people from all over the place doing these type of things, whether you're a big company doing a lot, whether you're individuals giving money, whether you're fans like us coming together for an event, if we're going to have a chance to have an impact on this horrible disease. And the stories that you shared about friends and recently losing them and so forth, we've all got those stories, unfortunately, and we will continue to have them in the future, unless we continue to say, we're not going to give up, and we're going to fight the good fight.
Absolutely. And to me, again, besides all the performances and all that, really at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Raising money for a good cause, getting together with good friends, seeing some great shows. And, last year, I think you even, correct me if I'm wrong, you put your money where your mouth was, and you even in some cases matched the donations that were coming in, right? And you mentioned before the $40,000 that came in. And it's just, to me, that's a great testament to KISS fans and to yourself as somebody promoting this. The $40,000 is not just a piece of chump change over there. It's a nice amount of money.
Yeah, if you can raise money, have a great time, and let me definitely point out that I've got my buddies Dale Walter and Brian Bell, who play a big part in helping us with the fundraising as well. So if I say the word me, it really means the three of us. So I don't want anyone to think that all the success is just because of what I've done. So again, it's a group of friends that we've tried to do things as well. And the one thing we're doing different, aside from the event, which was a lot different, but last year we focused on raising money. We're really proud of that. This year we want to raise, more money, but we also, Mike, want to have spend some time talking about cancer awareness and education this time, and we're actually, throughout the 2 days, we've got some local oncologists who are going to come up and talk a little bit. One thing that we're going to have is cancer. There's lots of types of cancer. We're going to spend some time talking about female breast cancer and male breast cancer as well. In particular, many men like us, aren't aware of breast cancer, and or if you've heard of it, you don't know, what do I look for? How do I know if I have it? And they've done a great job with female breast cancers with awareness. So good of a job that I think sometimes we haven't paid the attention we should to the male breast cancer risk as well. So we're going to spend some time in this event also raising money, but also awareness about what are the signs to look for cancer, and what do you do if you have some things you're concerned about. So we really want to make sure that money goes towards helping people, but if you're there, you leave with some knowledge that might help you maybe save your life, or certainly help you catch a disease early, which is, I think, everybody would say the best thing you do to fight cancer if you have it is catch it early.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, amazing that you're going to have those kind of guests there on top of the musical guests as well, because like you said, education and early detection is key. And you were mentioning male breast cancer. And, I'll be honest, before our friend Peter Criss had that, I had no idea. My ignorance, I'm going to claim ignorance here. I had no idea. And it was only through him, making this public and coming out and talking about it, that I became aware of it. And the more we educate people, the more you talk about people, the more you know what to look for, the safer hopefully we could all be.
Amen, Mike. Yeah, that's right. So, Peter did a great job. I was probably the same way. I've got a person in Sarasota who's involved with the event, and I told him recently what we were going to have someone talk about male breast cancer, and he kind of goes, "What? Men can get it?" And and unfortunately, I don't think that's all that common. Fortunate for KISS fans, we heard about it, but if Peter hadn't gotten it, I bet there'd be a lot of KISS fans might not be aware of it, including myself. Agreed.
So obviously, really, in the big scheme of things, that's the most important thing of everything. But let's also talk about some of the amazing guests that you put together for this event, right? So just for people who are watching and listening right now, just start off by giving a rundown of all the different crazy guests you got coming to this event.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely, Mike. So, whenever I put these events on, I say it, I'm not a concert promoter. I put on events for us, for fans, and things that Live Nation will never get us. not knocking Live Nation, but you know, they don't sit around and say, hey, Kiss fans, what do you really want?
What do Kiss fans want?
Yeah, they give us something and we choose to consume it or not. So, you know, I really take it from the perspective of you know, Kiss fans, what we'd enjoy, what we might not see, and frankly, we've been friends for so long. You know, I think we've earned the right to be able to have some of these events designed based on what we want. So I approach every event like that as saying, you know, what's special about this? What's really unique that you just can't get just again from a regular touring situation. And when I thought about it, Mike, you know, this year is you know, you got Kiss retiring from touring, you know, 50, all these things. So I really felt like it was a year of nostalgia, of celebration, and a reflection about things that we've all have been important to in different parts of our lives. And I thought it would be something, a different twist to have Kiss themed events, but really to celebrate and different things. And what I mean by that was often we brought together you know, bands to do certain things, and or just come together, and that either people that were involved with Kiss directly, or you know, maybe, you know, over the years had some involvement, toured with them. On this one, I really want to do some reflections on things that impacted a lot of us, including me. And so we did a few things where instead of just having bands come in, we had a lot of great musicians that we know, and we created makeshift bands for every performance. So what we're going to see is not a specific band, but a specific type of show. For example, on the first night, you know, I think back, you know, I was a fan from the 70s, and I remember when, you know, you had the first three albums, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, and Dress to Kill, and they repackaged them, I think in 75 as the originals.
Yep.
And, you know, back then, you know, I was a kid, I didn't have any money, and I bought the originals because it was a little bit cheaper to buy it that way back then than the three albums.
Yep.
And
I still have mine from 76 as well. My original one. It's ripped apart or whatever, but I still have it.
Yeah. And it had all the cool stuff in it as well. So I said, you know, the originals, which were the first three albums, which if you're a 70s Kiss fan, you know, really that's the music that initially got the band going. And certainly they had more commercial success with some of the albums after that. But that was Kiss, the energy that was Kiss, the things that drove the people in the you know, in the big markets, Detroit, New York, to band together, the Kiss Army, everything that was built around those first few years in those albums. So I said, let's do like a salute to those three albums. And but a step farther, so much of that music is still aged well, and you go see the End of the Road tour, and it's got a lot of music from those three
Sure
albums.
does.
Great songs. But I thought, you know, we don't need to, you know, again, we can see those on the End of the Road tours, and we have. There's a lot of great music though that hasn't been played either often or ever from those albums. So why don't we try to, you know, really look at those three albums and get some of the songs that are great, but for whatever reason didn't make it into the regular touring agenda over the years with Kiss. So, you know, to hear songs from you know, Love Her All I Can, Kissing Time, just you know, you take those three albums, and you know, probably half that songs you've seen played regularly over the last 10-20 years, but half of them you haven't, with the exception of sometimes on the Kiss cruise. So we really want to dig deep, Mike, and play those albums, but play some of the songs that we as Kiss fans, you know, all know, the general public might not know, but these events are designed again for us, the Kiss fans.
Which is why it's great that a Kiss fan is putting this together, because you get what the fans want.
Yeah, so that, you know, again, you know, it's some really deeper cuts, and so that was really one of the things we want to do. So that band will be let's see, you got Ryan Spencer Cook and Jeremy from Ace's band, solo band, and PJ Foley from Trickster. He's playing bass. So every band, it's like we got different people to come together to do that. And you know, that same night we're also doing, and that show also will be dedicated to the memory of a lot of people from that era that we lost from to cancer. You know, Bill Coyne, Neil Bogart, a lot of the Kiss crew, original Kiss crew, you know, that we've lost, the road crew people. So we're going to make sure that we give recognition to them. This venue is great. It's got a giant video wall, so we're going to show some pictures of, you know, Bill Coyne, everybody out there, and you know, kind of say this show is dedicated, you know, to, you know, this is for us, the Kiss fans, in dedication of the memory of these people that we lost to cancer and had a big impact, particularly through that those formidable years of the band. So I thought it'd be a good way for us to pay respect to some of those individuals. You know, we're also going to do something that I've wanted to do for quite a while, but I had to write setting. This was it, where we're going to recreate the Lick It Up album that first evening as well. And you know, the Lick It Up album, I've always felt, you know, the namesake, you know, the song Lick It Up is continue to have a lot of airplay or concert play, but the rest of the album, by and large, except for the Lick It Up tour, you know, very few songs have been played over the years, and I've never heard anybody, you know, ever play the entire album. And so we decided we were going to play the entire album. We're going to dedicate that performance to Eric Carr, you know, another person that we lost from Kiss, and you know, he made a powerful contribution on that album. It's the first time we got to see him, or any of them, without their makeup. And we've got you know, you know, one of the things about the Lick It Up album, you know, I'm a fan of all the albums, and but the Lick It Up, the Creatures of the Night, were really when the band was just playing so good, singing so good, and you know, the both Paul and Gene, you know, the vocals that they were doing at the time was really tough. And a lot of great musicians, a lot of great singers don't want to play from those two albums, and really a lot of from the 80s, because it's really hard to sing.
Not easy to sing.
Like a Todd Kern. Yeah, Todd Kern is one of the few that can do it, and was originally, gosh, months and months ago, when we were, you know, this was in the infancy with ideas. I said, Todd, I really got this idea of doing the Lick It Up album, you know, the entire album. You know, how would you feel about playing and singing it? You know, he's done, like, on the cruise a couple of years, they started their show off with Exciter. So, you know, and he sounded great, so I knew he could do it. And he loved it and jumped right on. And he said, you know, if that's what you're going to do, I'm in. And so you know, I think that's again a salute to, you know, you got some of the originals, then you got something from the early 80s area as well. And you know, that's really examples of what the whole weekend is going to look like, is recognitions of things that were, you know, notable times for us as Kiss fans.
Absolutely. And you know, I'll pause you there for a moment, because to me, and I love the highlight in the Lick It Up album, because all through the 80s and 90s, I have to say that's always been one of my favorite Kiss albums of all time. Probably close to top 5 for me. And I feel like in the 80s, maybe there wasn't as much love for the album as there is now. I think fans have started to come around, and I was fortunate. I did see the Lick It Up tour in person. But you mentioned before, you know, songs like Give Me More, right, hasn't been performed since whatever it was, April of '84 when that tour ended. I think it was, you know. There's a few songs. All Hell's Breaking Loose was barely performed live, you know. There's songs that would never perform live.
I've never heard Eighth Day performed live by anybody, you know, look, Kiss or anybody else. But Dance Over Your Face,
Dance All Over Your Face,
Over Your Face. So we're going to play the entire album. Then the encore, we're going to do a couple of cuts from Creatures of the Night. You know, again, I think some songs, you know, that it won't. I know what it won't be. It won't be I Love It Loud. It won't be War Machine. Not because they're not great songs, they are. But we've heard them a lot.
We'll see Kiss do those on the road.
Yeah. So we're going to grab a couple of songs off of that for the encore. So I just think that's going to be a really, you know, kind of powerful way to hear some music that we haven't heard before by some great musicians, and you know, celebrate some again great music, and in a format, you know, playing the whole Lick It Up album. I mean, I'm biased because, you know, I'm putting on the event, but if I wasn't, you know, and I'd heard about it, you know, I'd go see that, you know, and you know, I'd I'd search that out. You know, the other thing we're doing is not just albums, but some particular artist. You know, we're doing a salute to Peter Criss, the music of Peter Criss. And, you know, he's the songs that he was a part of singing or writing as well from his Kiss time. And, you know, again, there's some, you know, who wouldn't like to hear, you know, Hooligan, some songs like that as well. So we're going to go through and, you know, perform that. We've got a special salute to the music of Bob Kulick. You know, Bob we lost Bob. Now, we didn't lose Bob to cancer, but we did lose Bob, and we felt that we wanted to recognize his contributions to Kiss. And I think most Kiss fans know the studio album songs from the Live 2 Bob performed on, and those were powerhouse songs.
Absolutely.
Paul Stanley's '78 solo album,
Killers album,
Killers, which just didn't get again it was kind of lost. Like you were talking about early in the '80s, it was lost. But if you listen to some of the songs, it's great stuff. And probably it might be the only set of music we're going to deviate from Kiss music, just because we really want to reflect on a few things that Bob did, which were important and I think kind of cool. Both Bob and Bruce played with Meatloaf and toured with them, and so I think we're gonna, and we lost Meatloaf, so I think we're gonna include one Meatloaf song. And everybody, whether you have kids or a kid at heart, probably knows SpongeBob and SpongeBob SquarePants. And Bob wrote, produced, played the probably the biggest ballad for SpongeBob, Sweet Victory. So I thought, how cool would it be to do that? So that's gonna be kind of fun. I go back, how we're going to kick it off, Mike, is, sometimes you come up with good ideas, and sometimes you see other good ideas and you say, I like it a lot and I'm going to take it. And I've always loved the Kiss Cruise, how they start with the acoustic show. It just was always a good vibe. I did it at Christmas Masquerade in 2020. We started that way. We did Creatures Fest. We started it with Unplugged. And we did last year, we did Unplugged. We did the whole MTV Unplugged from beginning to end. That was really, really cool. I love Unplugged. I think most of us do. We decided to start the show off with an Unplugged again, but again, we wanted to make it a little different, and we're calling it Unplugged 2.0. And it's a majority of the songs, I would say about 75% of them are songs that you haven't traditionally seen in a classic Kiss Unplugged type of set, whether from MTV or some of the other things they've done. And I'm going to hold off saying the songs because I first I think it's gonna be surprising what we're doing. And it was a lot of, well, you can't do that Unplugged. Well, why not? And we're doing some really interesting things that I think are gonna come over really well. The other thing we're doing is again, that's on Friday night, and the whole event's about cancer, but we're doing a little bit of a focus on female breast cancer on Friday night. Saturday night's going to be male breast cancer. And we said, well, we're talking about female breast cancer. We're having these events, typically it's always 4 dudes up on stage. And so we said, let's do something a little bit different, and let's do some different songs. And then we thought, why don't we there's some great female rock stars, musicians out there. Why does it have to be 4 guys all the time? Why can't we give it a fresh look? So Mariah from the band Plush, she was on the Kiss Cruise last year.
A great voice. Oh my God.
Oh, Mike, just incredible. She was on the show The Voice. She not only the Plush, which is, I think is, going great places, but she does a Trans-Siberian Orchestra as well. So she's going to come and she's going to sing, prominently the songs that Paul sang. Have a higher range, and it's going to give her the ability really to kind of, take her voice and kind of, stretch it and utilize it and show off all the gifts she has. So I thought, Mike, it would be, again, something a little bit different, and, some different songs, a different approach to it all. But after I thought about it, I felt like it felt like the right way of doing it at the right time. You do it this way.
And that's one of the things I love about your events is there's always these little twists and unexpected things. And, I'm thinking back to last year when I went to Creatures Fest, and you started again there with an acoustic thing. And it was different members coming up, doing different songs. And, Bruce came out, did a few songs. Ace came out, did a song, right? And it was just, it was so much fun. And then to me, that's what your events are. They're just fun. And you never kind of know what's coming around the corner.
Yeah. Well, you put these things on, you put your heart and soul into them, and you're nervous about it, and you want it to go well, but there's live music, rock and roll is a messy business, so you're just worried about it. But I remember when the Unplugged set started, and I just felt this energy, and I said, there'll be some bumps here and there, but this is all going to work. This is going to be great. And I remember we announced that Bruce was going to play the Unplugged, and I made the decision not to announce that Ace was going to do it, and just to make it a big surprise. And I remember when he said, "Hey, everybody, welcome Ace Frehley," and everyone's looking around, but he was like way around the corner. It took him a while. So people thought he was they thought I was joking around with them because it took them 30 seconds to show up and so forth. So people kind of go, bad joke, Neil, and kind of look at their face. Then he shows up and so forth. So that was fantastic. And we want to mix it up a little bit. And people travel to these events, they have to spend money to flights and so forth. So I want to make sure they know enough that they go, wow, I want to be there. They know enough of the details saying, that's worth my hard-earned money and my time and everything as well. But we still want a few things when they get there that they go, didn't see that one coming. So we're going to try to have some of those moments again at this event.
Absolutely. And to me, even all the guests that you have there, like you said before, all have either a Kiss connection, who's playing with, Ace or Gene in the past, who's either, opened up for Kiss, Trix has opened up for Kiss in the past, right? So, who's been on the Kiss cruise with the band. So I think pretty much, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's a single artist that you have there that hasn't had a Kiss connection currently or in the past somewhere.
Yeah. No, I think that's the idea, is that, there needs to be a reason why they're there. And, right. There's a lot of great, musicians out there. But kind of, why are they at a Kiss event? And, I think, there's lots of different things like, and I'm not saying he's not going to be like some like John 5. He's just a huge Kiss fan. If John 5 wanted to show up, John 5 could have a place on a stage whenever, again. So just as long as there's some reason that they kind of feels like it's part of what we all are. And, that's kind of the way I look at it when I'm thinking about artists to perform.
And for us as fans, we're so fortunate that, these guys are all enormously talented. I think of Todd Kearns, who could sing anything. I've seen him on the Kiss cruise. I've seen him perform with Slash. The man's just a friggin' monster, likewise with Ryan and Jeremy and everybody that you mentioned. These people they're just incredible musicians, incredible vocalists, and more importantly, maybe than anything, incredible people as well.
Yeah, for sure. They are such nice guys. And, Ryan and Jeremy are amazing. I wish Phil Schaus could be down here with us. I talked to him. He's doing the tour, with one of the country bands. And I think he's gonna be out of the country. We did Kiss Cancer Goodbye last year in Nashville. It was and Phil was there. And, but there's no way you're going to find any weekend where everybody's sitting at home not doing some that weekend. And so I try to get to them early so they can block things off. But Phil said they had their tour already worked out. Same thing like Zach Throne, a great guy. Love to have him there. But he's having a lot of success with the Corey Taylor tour. And that's going well. And my gut feeling is it'll continue to get extended. And that's his focus right now. And we're happy for him. And we personally love to see them, but if you really care about the people, you're glad they've got the talents that they're doing, that they've shown us with the Kiss things they do is paying off, and they're getting kind of,
and they've got steady gigs.
Work. Right,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Now the amazing part to me, all of these performances sound great, and I think if I'm not mistaken, when I looked at the agenda for the 2 days, there was 8 different performances over the 2 days that you have scheduled, but all of the ones you've spoke about so far sound amazing, whether it's the originals, whether it's the highlighting Peter's stuff, highlighting Bob's stuff, highlighting Ace's stuff. We haven't even spoken about the headline event at this point either, which is amazing because to me, everything that you spoke about in and of itself, first, it's for a good cause. It's with a great group of people. It's a great bunch of performances. But that's not even the highlight of the weekend.
Yeah. No, well, no, it's not. And I thought we'd get to that. And you mentioned, we did a salute to Bob and to Peter. We are doing one with Ace, and Ace I'm really excited about because he's got so much music, from the Kiss catalog, and really from Frehley's comment, from all of his solo things as well. The difficult part has been going through there and trying to get a sampling from all the different parts of Ace's career. And it was tough, but when it comes together, if you're a person walking down the street, you're not going to know some of this music. If you're a Kiss fan, an Ace fan, to hear some of these songs, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is fantastic. So the Ace set's going to be just powerful, and just a lot of great things. We certainly want to have some songs in there that John Regan had a part of playing as well, since we lost him. He was a fine gentleman, and
absolutely,
so we want
one
to
of the best.
Some of the things that, for sure. And but the Alive 3 was something that I really, really wanted to do, it's an, 30th anniversary of it. It was, I'm a product, all the Alive albums really resonated with me. Alive in particular, because I was from the 70s. For me, Alive, maybe more than Alive 2. I was already in deep by the time Alive 2 came in. So Alive 1's really kind of what pulled me into the band. And then Alive 3 was just, we were talking about the 80s. The band was playing so good. And that album was just it's great. And it had, music from the 70s and the 80s as well. Yeah. So it was something that I really thought would be fantastic. And I got to, have to do a big shout out to Bruce. I've worked with Bruce a lot. Bruce is a great guy. Bruce is a fan's. He's very good to the fans. He's
and he gets it. Oh man, does he get what the fans want?
But yeah, he does. But on this one, he's playing the night before with Grand Funk Railroad in Las Vegas, and so he, Bruce is a healthy 68, 69, but, touring and playing, multiple nights is tough. And, he lives in Vegas, so it was really easy. He could play that Friday night, do a show there and then go sleep in the next day. And, he's performed for the weekend. And, he said, we looked at the schedule was, he's going to perform at Grand Funk Railroad, do what he needs to do, get home, go right to bed and get up early. And he's flying out Saturday morning and coming across the country to Sarasota. And he's not doing, again, I know him really well, but he's not really doing it for me. He's doing it for the fans to do this because, he's very proud of Alive 3 and, love the idea. And logistically, we talked about it and, his concerns were, boy, I got this show this weekend and we just found this one flight that just really worked out well. And scheduling wise, that got him out to Vegas. It was a direct flight. You're always worried about doing, you're worried about flights anyways, but when you have a layover, so we found one flight because, you lose 3 hours coming across the country. So,
yes,
he's leaving early in the morning flying and, there's not a whole lot of room to spare. I've got one backup plan if something happens with that flight. But the flight really, if you laid it out, worked out about perfect. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to do it. And his Lisa's coming with him, his wife as well. So we're excited about it. And I talked to him and, he loves it, having the opportunity to play Alive 3. He played the Revenge album in Nashville last year. Yep. And that was a powerful set. And, I think Alive 3 is going to be equally as important as what he did then.
Yeah. I did an episode on Alive 3 probably a year or two ago. And I know some Kiss fans are split. Some love it. Some think it's, not as good as Alive 1 and 2. And I had somebody on my show who's probably a couple of years older than you and I. And he was a fan in the early 70s. And he actually got back into Kiss because of Alive 3, which I think is so cool. Because he said, he had lost touch of the band in the 80s. And he saw they put out another live album. He loved Alive and Alive 2. And he's like, let me look at the track list. Oh, Detroit Rock City. I know that. Rock and Roll All Night. Let me give this a shot. Let me see what the band's been up to for the last decade. And he listened to it and it starts with Creatures of the Night. He's like, holy crap, that's good. And then Unholy and I Just Wanna and Heaven's on Fire. He's like, I'm missing out on a lot of good stuff for the last decade. And I love that album had that type of impact on some fans. And, anybody who knows Bruce knows he's always going to give an A++++ performance. There's no doubt that this is going to be a phenomenal performance from Bruce.
Yeah. Well, when you listen to it, when those drums start off in Creatures of the Night, if you're, it just sucks you in right away. But you made a point, and it's a good point about Kiss fans. We all love to get together for Kiss, but my God, can we disagree on things?
You think so?
But that's okay. It's no problem. The truth is, I have a favorite. I get asked a lot what my favorite Kiss album is, a favorite Kiss song, and an honest answer, it's different from time to time. It changes. There's just times I'm listening to some albums, some eras, and so forth more than others. And it's important to us at all. It's subjective, what's better, yes. So for it all. So, that's great. For somebody to say they like Alive 1 more than Alive 3, it means they've listened to both of them, intently. Yep. They've done them like that. That's okay. It's, to me, it's like a, kind of a lobster versus filet mignon discussion. So okay, all right, you want the lobster, I'll have the filet. So, but they're both delicacies.
And Neil, it's such a great point you're making. And over years, people's opinions and thoughts change as well. And I'll share this with you. I know all through the 80s, when I was a fan, people would say to me, "Oh, what's your favorite Kiss song?" And you're gonna laugh. At that time, and even still, it's one of my top 5. My favorite Kiss song was "Coming Home." And people would be like, huh, what song is that? And people had no clue. "Coming Home." I've never heard that before. And most Kiss fans, or most rock fans, if I said my favorite Kiss song was "Coming Home," they thought it was bizarre. They never heard it before, And I remember when I first heard that Kiss was doing "Coming Home," or trying to do it unplugged over in Australia, I freaked, because I was like, this is like February of '95. I'm like, what? They remember my favorite Kiss song, and then now here it is. They play it every time they do acoustic shows, and Kiss fans now all love it. But back in the '80s, when I said one of my favorite Kiss songs is "Coming Home," people were like, what? Not Deuce, not Black Diamond. So
no. I totally get it. So, and "Coming Home" is arguably their kind of best example of acoustic right now. It's like So it's like probably one of my favorite songs is "Seeing Your Dreams" from Rock and Roll Over.
Sure.
It's like most people, it's like it was a forgettable song, even a lot of Kiss fans, but it just I just love it and stuff. So and in fact, I had the Talisman. Remember they were playing that? I had them play that at a show a few years ago. So one of the good things about putting on these events, there's a lot of work, and I go into it, is you get a couple of things that are really that you like quite a bit. You can get played for yourself. So this is no example. There's a couple of songs people might be scratching their head going, "Hey, that was an odd choice." If you do that, say, Neil must really like that song. So
that's great. That's great. So Bruce is obviously doing the Alive 3 set on the Saturday night. And you made mention before, right? So Ace Frehley is going to be at the event as well, right?
Yeah, so Ace is going to be there, and we did something different with Ace, and I like it. And Ace is we all love Ace, and Ace is out on the road quite a bit right now. And if we had just Ace come and do one of his sets, hey, that'd be a win, and we'd be fine with it. But we're fortunate because we've worked with him so much that he's kind of willing, like, when we have these ideas, to listen. And what we said was, Ace, instead of doing one of your shows, they're great, love them. Why don't we, instead of having one show, you're up there for 75 minutes, why don't we spread you out over the weekend and have you playing in different parts that were kind of, again, we're doing salutes to things as well that you were a part of, and so see you shorter amount of times but more often, and guest, and since again it's not really bands that per se, normal bands, they're all makeshift ones, so you're going to go sit in and jam with different bands. So I think you'll likely see him with the Unplugged band. I don't think he'll be doing 2,000 man. Now I say that because all these musicians at some point in time, they kind of come in and say, "Hey, I've changed. I've decided this is what I want to do." So the suggestion was to do something a little bit different, and he was open to it. We're going to play the originals. I mean, that was when people like you and me found out about Ace Frehley is from the music that time. And then we're doing a salute of to Ace's music. Well, that makes sense for him to come up and play some songs with that as well. So instead of him doing a traditional Ace show, which again, originally we were thinking about doing that, I said, we're doing all these different salute things. Why don't we have Ace guests perform in the different ones? And so I think you'll see him 2 to 3 different times over the weekend, playing you don't know what he's going to play. You don't know exactly when he's going to show up, but if you're there, I'm hoping everybody's keeps their eyes glued to the stage the whole time, because they never know when Ace or anybody else might pop up.
That is awesome. I love that idea. And look, we've all seen Ace. I've seen Ace probably a couple of dozen times, right? I like, again, it's you're always offering the fans something different and something unique. So to me, an Ace show would have been fine, but seeing him pop up in all these different iterations, to me, that's more exciting.
I think so. And again, because everything about this event's different, and we're not doing bands and per se so much coming in the same way, and it felt like the right thing. And I give it to Ace. He was he's used to touring. Ace has got a set list. He's used to doing things kind of Ace's show. And I think if it wasn't for the fans, and I think we've done these events and have always produced them in a way that he felt comfortable about it, and he's well aware of the fact, like all of them, that these are fan-based events. This isn't just a show in any particular town that some people might say, hey, there's that guy from Kiss, let's go see him. These are hardcore fans, so he gets that as well. And when you initially came up with the idea, I think there was a little bit of like, well, what kind of what say, well, here's what we're doing, here's the whole theme of the event, and they kind of thought about it a little bit and said, yeah, look, just give me some more ideas about what you're thinking. And big thanks to him, like Bruce was willing to do something for all of us.
That's amazing. Now there's different ticket packages as well, right? So talk about that.
So we this whole hall that we're doing in, it's a brand new hall. It's just finished the first this year. It's a real small, intimate hall. So probably half of the size of the Creatures Fest hall. And every place in it is a great place to see it. But there's some people that want to pay for I want to be right up front, and I'm willing to pay that as well. And some people saying, hey, I want to be there and I want to be able to see things, but the budgets are more important. So when I do these things, you take the cost of putting it on, you say, how many tickets are you going to have them? You can divide them by the number of tickets and have one ticket price. And some people might say, oh, that's easy. Some people might say that's kind of expensive. So the more expensive ones subsidize the price for the general admission ones, because you really have 3 concerts. You have Friday night, all day Saturday concert, a break, and all day Sunday a break, a show. So you get 3 concerts, and we want to make sure that we had price points for everybody. But I've had a lot of people call me and say, oh gosh, I really feel maybe I should stretch for this. And I said, you can do whatever you want to. I would just make sure you come. Don't do what's comfortable for you. Like the general admissions tickets location, it's really like the back of the VIP section of the Creatures Fest. That's how close you are.
Oh,
so
wow.
I mean,
Okay.
It's all good. So if some people are in position, they say, hey, I'll pay a little bit more and I want to be right in front of the stage. Okay, we'll give them that opportunity, and we use that to subsidize the price for some of the other ones to make it as affordable as possible for everybody. So we have 3 different ticket prices, and and they get you into all three events, the Friday evening, Saturday during the day, and Saturday night. And I think, Mike, we're probably going to, just because we'll probably expand Friday and start doing some things Friday during the day as well. We might have some vendor things as well, or some fan, there's a lot of, again, everybody wants to meet Bruce and Ace. We all do, want a picture with them. But Todd Kearns and Ryan and Jeremy, they're becoming celebrities in their own right. And frankly, they're our future. 10 years from now, they're the guys that we're going to be hopefully still seeing. So we're coming up with some opportunities where you have some time to go and kind of meet some of those guys and get a picture. Ryan and Jeremy just put out that great new rock album, and it'd be a good opportunity. I've encouraged them to bring some down, because I know fans would want to pick those up, and I'd love to give those guys an opportunity to talk a little bit about the album sometime during the weekend.
Yep, I had Ryan on probably about 2 months ago plugging the album. I've heard the album, I've listened to it. A great album. Kiss fans will love it. Van Halen fans will love it. 70s rock fans will love it. So anybody watching, if you haven't heard that, go check it out, because it's really a great album. And hopefully, like you said, they bring some along at the event, because I think they definitely sell. Perfect. RCMC. There you go. Rock City Machine Co.
Yep. Yeah, they had an album release party a couple weeks ago in Nashville on a Wednesday night, and it's just really lucky. Where I live in Sarasota, we're a mid-sized market, but we have our own airport. But Southwest has a direct flight from Sarasota to Nashville, and it worked out. Like, I had one right at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, so got off of work, went to the airport, flew up there. It's an 80-minute flight. You lose an hour going back. So I got there like at 7 o'clock. I think I got there at 7:15. The party started at 8. I dropped my bag off the hotel and got right there at 8. Walked in at 8:05 when the party was starting. And then they had a flight home next morning at 8 in. So I was back in my office at 9:30.
Didn't even have to take a day off of work for that.
No. And it was so much fun seeing those guys and all the other people in Nashville. I mean, Nashville, all of us, I think, are lovers of music, and Nashville is just such a great music town. And it was really fun being in there. I kind of walk in, and I see there's Chuck Garrett from Alice Cooper. There's people from Skid Row, and all the types of musicians were there. So it was really cool to kind of be in there, because they're all friends with Ryan and Jeremy. How can you not like those guys?
Absolutely. Now, do you also have a hotel block for fans that are coming in and spending the weekend?
Yeah. So we do. We thank you for asking. There's a hotel, the closest hotel to the venue. It's about a mile away. And on our website, which is creaturesfest.com, there's a block, and it shows the hotel. It's got a link on it, and it's got a special rate. In fact, I've had people the hotel's sold out except for our block right now, because there's a big rowing. We have a big rowing park in Sarasota. There's a rowing event going on. So the hotels, I blocked off a bunch of rooms early on, so nice. You can go in there and do it. But I had some people go, I called the hotel, they're sold out. I go, well, they are, but you got to go that area, that thing. I go, it's actually, you'll save a few bucks and you can get a room. So right. Absolutely. So I think what we're gonna do is I think, Mike, were you at Christmas Masquerade, if I remember?
No, I was not, unfortunately. No.
Okay. So what we did there is that was during COVID, so we did a lot of things outside, and we had a barbecue outside, which went well. But what we're doing this time is during the daytime on Saturday, we're calling it Party in the Park, because this property, it's a big 5-acre campus. You got the facility on it, and then right adjacent to it, there's an area with beautiful oak trees and overhangs, and that's where we have the outdoor stage. And there's a parking lot, and we're bringing all these different food trucks with all different types of foods, different styles. I mean, you have burgers and pizzas for people, but you'll have Mexican, all different type of things. And so we're gonna kind of have the Party in the Park, give everybody an opportunity to sample different types of food as well. And again, socializing. We're having picnic benches and everything outside, so you hear all this great music on Saturday. We didn't even talk about, we're having a comedy show also. We're having Courtney, who does the Kiss comedy, and the she's coming and doing it. And for the first time, Steve Brown and PJ from Trickster are going to be the rock star comedians. So they're going to do that as well as her. And I don't know, at the Creatures Fest, the set was fantastic. She does it on the Monsters of Rock. She's done on the Kiss cruise, and she's just a hilarious woman by herself, a huge Kiss fan. So that'll be in the park on Saturday afternoon, in addition to all the music that we're doing.
That is awesome. Now, I know some of your events in the past, you've also auctioned off items and things like that. Are you going to be doing anything like that this time?
Yeah, so that's a big part of it. And you started off saying that this is about cancer and raising money, and I don't ever want to lose sight of that. The way we raised money last year was we would play some music, and then we would have some items that were donated, like Bruce Kulick, Peter Criss, we donated a lot of things, and we auctioned them off right there live, and that's where we raised the money. And we're going to be doing the same things in between the sets. This year we'll probably expand it. We'll have some live auction items, and then we'll have some silent auctions so people can bid on them. We'll be able to build them whether you're there in person or remotely. We're going to have the opportunity to do that as well. I was actually in New Jersey this past weekend and saw Peter Criss, and he donated 4 Peter Criss drum heads and a few other items as well. Bruce is doing some things, all the guys. So I think Todd Kearns, he's going to donate a stage played guitar. So there's going to be a lot of cool memorabilia as Kiss fans that we like, and then that'll raise money. In fact, I hung it up. This is our new. We got a couple of the drum heads that we're going to have. We're going to have 2 of the double black ones, and we got a white one for the acoustic, and then we're going to have the band sign them afterwards as well. And we're going to auction them off for charity, Mike. And
that is awesome.
Yeah, so I think we're going to have. I've got one of those replica Ace Frehley guitars, and we're gonna have all the bands sign that as well, and all the bands, all the artists sign it as well, and raffle it off charity. So that's really at the end of it all. If we have a great time, we saw some friends, and we raised some money. My goodness, I hope we all feel good about that.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to, you made a very quick comment about it, but you said that how you were with Peter Criss this past week. And I first want to thank you for sharing the video clip that you did, right? Because to me, it was just amazing. Whenever I see Peter behind the drums, and he just seems so happy, and he's a cancer survivor. His wife is a cancer survivor, right? And he just seems so happy and so at peace. And it just puts such a huge smile on my face just to see him behind the drums. He's playing Sing 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 at this event. And it just, he sounded incredible on drums. He looked happy and healthy. And it's just, you know, it's just, it makes me happy to see. And I just want to thank you for sharing that video with the fans this week.
Yeah. Well, you know, I have, well, it was great. I mean, it was great seeing it. And it was kind of, you know, this, you know, the Kiss universe is going to want to see this. So as I was watching it, but that was, I had more views on that post than any post I've ever had on social media. It was just about 50,000 views when I saw it this morning. It's been shared over 500 plus times. And you know, I would say 99.9% of the comments are incredibly favorable, and which is, you know, great for
unheard
Kiss
of.
fans. Yeah.
It's also unheard of.
And Mike, what you said is true, because I was, you know, we're sitting right next to him at dinner, and he came back after he played, and he had this big smile on his face, and that was impromptu. I mean, they didn't rehearse, they didn't do all those type of things as well. And wow. He just was so, you know, just I think he really enjoyed it. You know, it was a type of music he loves. Everybody knows he loves that kind of, you know, jazz big band type of.
That's what he closed his final solo show with, that song.
Yeah, yeah, and yes, and he just you know, was just as happy as could be about it. He sounded great. You know, I hear, unfortunately, sometimes people questioning his skill sets, and I think that was just a good clip of him just getting up impromptu playing, saying, you know, if Peter Criss wants to drum, Peter Criss can drum.
And I think the most amazing thing that I'm hearing that you just said is that it was completely unplanned and unrehearsed. I mean,
yeah.
To me, that just sounded like they had rehearsed for 2 weeks before they got up there that night.
Yeah. In fact, Gigi ran over and grabbed me and said, "Oh, Peter's walking up to play the drums, Neil," because, you know, I just stepped outside and getting some dessert, and because they had an inside area and outside area where the food was, and she came around and she goes, "Neil, like, Peter just said he's going to play, come in here," and so forth. And I said, "What?" You know, and because I had asked him earlier, because I said, "Hey, Peter, are you gonna go sing a song and so forth?" He goes, "No, you know, they got a great band up there and so forth." Yeah, so it was fantastic. I'm glad you grabbed me, and because I almost missed it.
Oh, that would have been a shame if you were there and then missed that performance.
Mike, I know it. So it was a lot of fun. So he was fantastic, and you know, everybody, you know, just the whole everybody was there, just kind of gathered around. It was like a, you know, kind of semicircle around there and just watching him play, and you know, he just played great, and it kind of warmed my heart as a Kiss fan, as a Peter Criss fan, to see it.
Yeah. You know, I also want to just mention, to me, you pulled off something I thought was absolutely impossible to pull off, right? So I was mentioning Creatures Fest before, and I never in my dreams thought that Vinnie Vincent would play in public again. And somehow you pulled that off. And I'm sure you saw, you know, some people said they loved it. Other people had comments about it. Were you happy with overall the way everything went down?
Yeah. So, you know, I heard all the comments leading up to him that he wasn't going to play, and I knew he was going to play. I was with him at SIR Studios a couple days beforehand when he was rehearsing, and you know, the one thing that and I'll take some blame for it, is that these events, again, they grow and they change. I had said early on when we announced it, said he's going to play the Creatures Night Show, and that's what he was going to do. Then we got Bruce and Ace coming as well, and we had this opportunity to have them play together. What I should have told everybody is come and said, "Hey, that idea, it's a great idea, but I got a better idea." And and I just made assumption that everybody'd say, "Hey, if we announce they're playing together, then everybody'd be cool with it." So so it morphed into a good idea to something even better. And then what Vinny said to me, I'm not sure, a few weeks beforehand or something, is he said, "You know, some people say I can't play anymore, and you know, it's not true." And he goes, "You know, I would love to, Neil, if you'd give me the opportunity to start it off, just let me play." He goes, "That way, you know, nobody says afterwards, well, you know, he sounded good because of so and so. I'll just play by myself. And if they don't like it, it's okay. If they love it, that's great. But nobody can say that I can't get up there and play as well." So I said, "You know what? Let's do it. You know, why not?" So we said, "We'll have you get up there and play. You do whatever you want to for, you know, 15-ish minutes. Then we'll come out and do Bruce and Ace." And you know, I've heard people say they loved it. I've heard people say it was horrible. And but he played. You know, I heard plenty of people saying that he wouldn't play, and he did do that. And you know, Vinny, you know, kind of you know, makes his own decisions about what he's going to do, and that's what he wanted to do. But you know, I thought when he was up there standing there with Bruce, and then with Bruce and Ace, you know, that was fantastic. You know, I mean, you know, you mentioned you saw the Lick It Up tour. I saw the Creatures of the Night tour, and you know, kind of to see all these guys that I've seen on their own together again. You know, nobody believed that would happen, and it did. And if some people didn't like it, well, you know, be lucky we had it. You know, I'd rather have it and be able to critique it a little bit. It was very raw, Mike. I mean, it was a very raw show, you know, without question about it all. But it happened, and I'm really, you know, happy because you know, I heard all the people saying it never would.
Yeah, and I'll say this, you know, like I started off saying, I give you a ton of credit because I never thought Vinny would perform in public and shred like that. Maybe do a few chords, but I never thought he'd do the shred thing in public. Yeah. And if you would have told me even 3 or 4 years ago that Bruce and Ace and Vinny would ever share a stage together, I would have bet my life against that, you know, and I would have lost. So whether people love it or hate it, you pulled off something that A, I thought was impossible, and B, I always say this is certainly memorable.
Absolutely. It was rock and roll. It was unscripted. And, you know, I remember in 2019 when we had Ace down in Miami before the Kiss cruise, and he was having some sound problems, and he threw a water bottle at the sound guy. I know the sound guy, and people like going, "Oh my God, I can't believe I did." I go, "What, are you kidding me? That's rock and roll." You know, everything's so polished now. You go to a Taylor Swift show, it's amazing, but they do it's so, you know exactly what it's going to be. You can watch a YouTube video from the night before, and you know, and you know, and Kiss is a lot that way as well, and you get a great show of it, but it's still, I think, fun sometimes to have the unexpected happen, and you know, like it was when we were kids. You know, just you didn't know what the set list was going to be, you didn't know what was going to happen, and you know, the artists were very volatile back then, and it was just it made some of the best stories and memories. So I take it that regard. And you know, again, he had his fans, his detractors beforehand, he has them afterwards, but he showed up and played, and that's what he has to do. You know, Mike, you and I remember we were at his event in 2019, and we both saw him play, and he, you know, he won't let you film it. And I remember that night I put a post up, and I said, just saw Vinny shred, and he was fantastic. And someone wrote, "I don't believe you, you know, you're lying," whatever like that. I go, wow, you know, so forth. And so I mean, people just have strong opinions when it comes to Vinny, you know, good or bad.
And Kiss fans are just gonna have strong opinions just in general, whether it's Vinny or otherwise, right? So, and I've got some of those same comments as well. And look, people could like it, people could hate it. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, you pulled off what I thought would be impossible, is get him to play in public. And I just want to, you know, acknowledge that and say, you know, good job pulling off the impossible. Are you still working with him on the record, or no, not at all?
Yeah, so you know, I mean, we helped him with the record, and you know, Vinny's, you know, Vinny is like a over anal perfectionist about things. You know, we heard the whole album a year ago. We kind of had a bunch of friends went up to Nashville and heard it all, and it was great. And then afterwards said, you know, I think the hi-hats need, you know, a little bit different, and I talked to his producers, and he said, you know, he felt like the snares a little bit, and he just, you know, continues to tweak it all a bit. You know, I think he had an event a few months ago, and I wasn't there, but you know, I think he had the songs about done, and I'm hoping, you know, he'll you know, finish it up. I mean, you know, the truth is, I think from my perspective, and I think I've got a pretty good musical ear, I thought it sounded great. I'm not sure if the tweaks he's doing, I would personally be able to tell the difference, but you know, he made a comment to me one time about it. He said, you know, Neil, he goes, when I'm gone, this is what I'm leaving behind, and it's just I've got one chance to do it the right way. And you know, you can't argue those words. I mean, I think that, you know, again, I just love people to hear it because I think it sounds good. Right. So I hope it does, you know.
And I remember I interviewed once Brad Gillis on my show, and he said to me, one of the hardest things doing a solo album, because that's what he was working on at the time, is knowing when to say when. You know, when you don't have your other bandmates around you to say, hey, that's good. You got 4 or 5 people in the band voting. When you're doing something yourself, you're always listening the next day and saying, but what if I tweak this, or what if I tweak that? And you know, Brad's solo album that I was talking about with him back in 2020 still hasn't come out either. So you know, so it's kind of interesting. Maybe it's a guitarist thing, I don't know. But you know, you mentioned before these live performances, and you know, we were talking about all the different live performances that are going to be at Kiss Cancer Goodbye, and that's one of the things I love. And I'll just say it again, is you've laid out what the schedule is. but you kind of don't know what's around the corner. You're going to get these rare cuts. You're going to get these mix of musicians together that you may never see again. And that to me is what's exciting about live music and all of your events. That's what you managed to pull off. And it sounds to me like Kiss Cancer Goodbye 2 is going to be more down that road and more of that same excitement.
Well, one thing, Mike, that, you know, we talked about the Kiss Cruise earlier. You know, I love the Kiss Cruise going on. I miss it this year. I kind of feel like this is if you're jonesing for a vacation, you know, you can come to Florida in October. But one thing on the Kiss Cruise people would often say is that they didn't play enough of deep cuts. You got some, but and you know, they argue that it was too much of like whatever the tour was at that time. And I will tell you that for Kiss Cancer Goodbye, it's the exact opposite. It's 80% deep cuts and maybe 85%. And we've done some different twists on some of the songs. And I'll give you one example. So I'm gonna spoil it for this one song, but there's so many of them like it as well. So Unplugged, I really wanted to push the envelope on that, and we're gonna be playing you know, the first title song off Asylum. We're playing King of the Mountain on Asylum off of it. You know, that's a beast of a song as well. Well, Charlie from Quarantine, you know, from Peru, is a guitar wizard. You know, he's just a master, has many different styles as well. And I went to him early, you know, 6 weeks ago, and I said, I'd really like to play King of the Mountain. It just, no one will see that one coming. But I don't know if it can be played, you know, acoustically. And can you spend some time on it and tell me what you think? And if it can't, you know, maybe, you know, just say, you know, there's other things we can do. Right. And so we Zoom, we talk. A couple weeks later, we got together. He goes, I think we can do King of the Mountain, but here's what I need to do to make it really work, Neil, is the leads have a lot of tapping things that just won't translate over to acoustic guitar.
That's what I'm thinking as you're saying this. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. He said, what if I did it like this, change the lead around, give the same spirit kind of note, you know, kind of note pattern, but do it like a Spanish type of style guitar and so forth as well. You know, like that, you know, really fast kind of Spanish thing as well. And he gave me an example of it all. I said, you know, yes, absolutely. So I said, you know, that's a song people aren't going to expect to play, and you normally couldn't play it if you tried to play it, you know, kind of note for note, because it doesn't translate over. But Charlie, if you listen to some of his YouTube videos and see the way that he's taken, you know, Lady Gaga songs, he's taken, you know, like video game songs and adapted them differently to rock and roll and to music. You know, he's just a master of that. And he came up with something that just as a fresh interpretation of it, that you can make that song and play it acoustically, and it's going to be really, really cool. And I'm excited for everyone to hear about it. And I don't feel bad telling you, because there's 10 different examples of things like that as well. But I just give you a sense of how we're really trying to push the envelope on some of these things as well. And yeah, you know, Mike, we might swing and miss on a couple of them as well. But you know, I think majority of it's going to work. We're gonna take some risks on a few things as well, and I'm sure I'll hear about the ones that don't land as well you want to. But we're gonna try it. You know, we're gonna give it a try, and you know, we'll get an A for effort no matter what, and some of them will resonate better than others. But I really wanted to do some different things.
I personally love that. And I love that you dripped out just the one song, because that's just a little taste, little tiny taste. But you know, just last week I was listening to the extreme version. I know it's not acoustic, but I was listening to the extreme version of Strutter from Kiss My Ass, and you know, that's a little bit different. It doesn't sound like the Kiss. It's more of like an extreme style. But I'm like, damn, this is good. I really like. I hadn't heard it in a number of years. I love when, you know, bands and artists could put their own little twist on things, and if it's done well, like you said, it could be a friggin' home run. And you know, I love that you guys are not playing it safe, because the easy thing would be to say, hey, let's do an acoustic show. All right, let's start off with Coming Home, then let's do Strutter maybe, and let's do the songs that we know will work. You know, probably my favorite acoustic Kiss song, because I used to love to collect all those 95 videos when they did and it was 100,000 Years. I just think it was amazing when they did that acoustic, you know, so, but it's not a song they did on a regular basis acoustic. So sometimes those, you know, little twists that you are unexpected are the best things.
Yeah, a different song with a great artist. I mean, you mentioned Extreme. I mean, you know, they're the type of band, so much talent that, you know, they could do some things and make it different and make it still work. But you know, and we've got that talent here to do those type of things.
Exactly.
And you know, we got some other things that we're doing. And you know, I'm going to pause because I don't want to give away anything else. But I think that example I said, I think it's a really cool one. But it's but it's not the, pinnacle of all the ideas. It's just one of the things we really are doing differently. So if you think, you go, that sounds pretty interesting, kind of a cool concept. I don't know if it'll work or not, but it's kind of cool. We got a lot of examples throughout the whole weekend on that. I mean, the Ace Frehley set list is just, that was probably the toughest one going through it all, because some of that stuff from the 80s, I've known it, but some of it I haven't listened to in a while. I go back and go, oh my gosh, I forgot about how good that was, and what about this one, and sat there with a paper and just kind of yes, no, yes, this side, that side, and so forth. And I really like it. If you're a fan of Ace, and most of us are, you're gonna hear some things you haven't heard in quite a while.
That is awesome. I love it. So in your best Gene Simmons imitation, tell people again where to get their tickets.
Yeah. Okay, Mike. The website's creaturesfest.com. We decided, that name's pretty well known. So when we do events, we're going to use that as the umbrella of it all, instead of having everybody trying to, learn a new, web page afterwards. We rebranded the front page. So we have different pages. This one, so it's about creaturesfest.com. It's got all the artists there as well. It's got the tickets. It has some lineup things we're doing as well. And it's October 13th, 14th in Sarasota, Florida. I put up a few weeks ago. We have, again, the Sarasota airport, which I mentioned, the Tampa airport, which is 50 minutes away. I think we have 50 cities with direct flights, inexpensive direct flights. So if you're different parts of the country, you might be able to get there a little bit easier than you think. October is kind of our off season in Florida as far as hotel costs. So it's a pretty inexpensive time if you're going to come to Florida, but it's delightful then, mid-October, barring that we don't have a storm like we have right now. It's a month where we have very little rainfall. The temperatures have dropped 10, 12 degrees from the highs in the summertime, and it's just a delightful time to come and see the beaches, see some great music, and certainly welcome everybody to give them a chance to show off my hometown.
Awesome. And the hotel information is on the website, and the meet and greet information is on the website as well, right?
Everything's on there as well. So the again, if you have any questions, I always the emails come to me. You can do creaturesfest@gmail.com or Kiss America, which is my other one, and email me. People do it every day, and email you back. You can IM me. You can call me, text me. Respond to everybody. And if you don't hear from me within a day, write me right back. So sometimes they get buried down. There's so many of them, but I'm just a fan like you, Mike. So I'm happy to talk about anybody with everybody and get their thoughts and feedbacks and answer their questions. I think, talking about Creatures Fest, there was a section of people who didn't want to come because they thought that it would just, wouldn't work and so forth. And then I think about everybody said afterwards that, everyone was there said, my God, I'm glad I'm there. And I think majority of the people that weren't there realized they missed something. And, I don't want to make a wing where I'm comparing every event to each other, to the other ones. They're own, different, their own, but this will be just as remarkable and memorable in its own way. And I encourage people, if you're available then, and if you love this deep Kiss stuff, it's going to be a great weekend.
And perhaps even more importantly, it's a great cause.
And raising, absolutely.
So that's where we started, and that's where I'll end. All of this is about, donating money and raising money for cancer. Yeah. Like you started at the top, we all know somebody that's been impacted. So to me, this is just, we spent an hour or whatever it was talking about all the great Kiss stuff, but let's not lose sight of why you're doing this, and,
that's right.
I don't care if there's a performance or a song that's not great. Who the hell cares? You were raising money for cancer, which is a great cause. And, it's easy for you to just sit back and do nothing if you wanted. That's easier, right? But instead, you're putting in your time, you're putting in your effort, you're putting in your money, and so is all the artists. And look, I've been to many of the events, and I've always had a freaking amazing time. And I'm sure this one will be no different at all. So I will just say, Neil, thank you for what you've done for the fans. Thank you for raising money for the cause. And thank you for everything.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Mike. So, and look forward to seeing you again soon. And I'm sure we'll be back here doing this again when another one of these ideas come up that we all need to rally around.
My door is always open to you, my friend. I really appreciate you taking the time. And again, thank you for everything that you've done. And thank you for also taking the time. I know that your state right now is being hit with a storm, and you still, like a trooper, came on. So thank you. I appreciate that, Neil.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
All righty, take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching. Go right now. Go to creaturesfest.com. Buy your tickets. Don't wait. You're going to have a great time that weekend, I guarantee you, and the money's going to a good cause. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, everybody, thanks for watching.
Alrighty, there you have it. I'd like to thank Neil for joining me, talking all about Kiss Cancer Goodbye 2. I've been to a number of Neil's events in the past. They're always a lot of fun, and I'm quite sure this one will be as well. If you guys are watching or listening, definitely you're going to want to head over to creaturesfest.com, pick up your tickets, and make sure you have a great time as well as raising money for a great cause. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.